All right, welcome back to another episode of the Charge Talk podcast via the Disrupting YouTube channel. I'm with my main man, our resident expert on industrial metals, all things electrification, Rob McCannon. Rob, I know today we are very excited. Couldn't rush this video any faster. We're going to discuss Kulr technology, a leading developer of next generation lithium-ion battery safety and thermal magnets. Where do you want to kick off with this thing? You put this on my radar. You're the man with all the answers, I think.
And Larry gets the credit on bringing this to me. He led me to an article about them getting us some talks with Tesla on their heat management technology. And I looked at it, and the next thing I know, I'm more and more excited. This is a huge deal because pretty much any system, whether it's mechanical, or full digital, has one major problem, and that's heat. Even in space, we want to either, we sometimes even want to contain heat. But either way, heat management is the end all be all of this, and it's big into efficiency, and it winds up being the cost savings. And I want people today to understand what Kulr, I don't care how they pronounce it. I'd like to know. Couldn't really find out for sure, but I love this company, and I've been posting where I have actually made an investment in this company. And full disclosure, but I want to talk to you to understand what this company does.
Well, just for everyone's edification, the ticker is KULR. And, to your point, gosh, this is a problem that everyone experiences at some point. Last night with my laptop on my lap, it's a brand new, MacBook Pro, but the thing gets warm. And I'm not sitting here in Hawaii, but yet my legs are on fire, right? Or if I'm on Twitter Spaces, my phone is ready to just, ignite in a blaze because I'm burning so much, energy, I guess. But you talked about how that's a problem for the actual energy efficiency of the hardware that we're using, right? So when it's getting warm, that indicates what?
Well, okay, a machine itself or any process, when you feel the heat off of it or you hear it, those are both production of energy outside of its normal purpose, unless it is a heater or a drum machine or something like that.
Sure.
Its point is it needs to be quiet and cool. Otherwise, it's resistance, it's other things that happen normally. But when it produces heat, units around it also continue to produce heat, and you have what's called thermal runaway. We know this. A great example of thermal runaway, I'm sorry, GM, but I'm going to pick on you, is the Chevy Bolts that are catching on fire right now. Isolation of the battery cells during charging is a key piece. If you're not isolating it, then one battery cell, as it starts to overheat, will spread that to the cells next to it, which changes the chemistry, which causes them to heat, which adds more heat into the original part. And at that juncture, you have what we call thermal runaway. As you can see, it becomes a cycle, and that causes the fires there. This also
is a domino effect of heat.
Yes. And the point is you want to be able to, if you can, isolate and then remove heat as best you can. Kulr's technology is a heat management technology, right? And so when you hear this idea, what makes this special? What is the secret sauce is that they are able to add safety and make things more efficient by removing that heat. Now, some people got tantalized this week because they saw, the sneaky piece of Kulr with Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you why.
Yeah, this is
cool. This is a Bitcoin mining machine. It's an older one, looking to sell it. But the truth is this is a very loud machine. If you look, you see fins along the side. These are heat sinks in a way, and what they're meant to do is take heat from one area and pipe it out. This machine here is actually six processors All
So
right.
6 individual little computers, essentially.
Right. In pairs.
Yep.
And we right now bring air in and push it out already to try to handle the heat. If you've dealt with one of these, they're very, very, very hot.
Oh yeah.
And as they run, any Bitcoin mining operation has a lot of problems with heat. Heat management causes higher electricity bills. It also causes inefficiencies. So therefore, you want to run these things as quiet and as cool as possible.
It will actually function faster, right?
They function faster. Remember, superconductors are easier to do at very cool temperatures.
Well, not to mention, you're probably mitigating, well, you are mitigating a lot of risk of your building burning down.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you're looking for OPEX, right?
Yep.
Operational expenses is everything in any type of plant or manufacturing you're doing. Bitcoin mining is absolutely about OPEX. What this winds up doing is this reduces the OPEX by adding ability to take that heat that would cause problems across there, plus giving isolation, which keeps units running faster and longer. So we're going to take it, this is able to pull the heat out of one area and release it wherever you want. That heat management technology back, Kulr or Cooler, or I don't know, Kulr. Cooler makes sense. Either way, this winds up being a huge piece in the Bitcoin piece, becomes a huge piece in data centers.
Yeah,
So,
I was just thinking data cloud centers. I mean, they're all over the world and big.
right. And well, in data centers, your population of servers or your density of servers is very critical for floor space and power. Well, how do you manage that? You have the quick question becomes is managing heat and managing cooling, which is the active, and heat, which is the inactive, right? You want to pull the heat off and introduce cooling. Well, Kulr, Kulr, I don't know, guys, give us a call. We're willing to talk to you guys because I'm excited.
And yeah, we want to learn as much as we can.
Bring us in. We will sit down with you. We'll bring in anybody you need us to try to talk to you. We don't care. We want to hear from you. But just to tell us how to pronounce your name. But the thing here is this allows companies to operate in such a fashion that winds up their OPEX, the operational expenses goes down. That means profitability and margins go up.
Yep.
So that's important there. Let's go over to EVs. It's important for a safety feature. And also, when I increase the current and the voltage onto charging, that's going to wind up producing more heat naturally. We want to do that because that's faster charge times. Faster charge times right now in EVs is everything.
Yep.
A lot of people who don't want to go to EVs are scared they're going to be stuck somewhere for an hours trying to charge their car. EV manufacturers are very, very eager to find ways to reduce the amount of time it takes to charge. So that means they want to increase the amount of amperage and voltage going in to do such. To do that, you're going to, E equals I times R. So if that happens, you're going to have to, resistance goes up. So resistance goes up, that increases heat. So you have to do something with the heat. That's where Kulr, please call us.
I think it is Kulr. That would only make sense, right? It's a thermal company.
The thermal company.
Kulr.
And so if you guys don't like that, call us. So
no, we'll start a petition to change it to Kulr because that's more fitting.
We'll call you Jimmy. Jimmy can take down. No, but the thing here is that either way, by doing this, I have now reduced I've taken away some of that heat, so I can continue that speedier charge and therefore do less damage. Again, one of the parts of this technology is isolation. So the cells themselves can now be isolated between each other. So if I do have thermal runaway, I only have thermal runaway in a very localized area, which increases safety. Now,
so instead of like a whole field of batteries, there's individual thermal shields around,
yes,
bundles, essentially, of them.
Right. Well, and there's a little bit of battery thought here. That by doing that, first I can spread out the voltage across there and charge a whole set of them. You see this when you're bringing your Tesla in to supercharge, it'll say priming and getting ready. And what it's trying to do is level off the batteries. That
Sure.
way it can sit there and send the battery charge across it equally. That's good conditioning. Um, but back to this, that allows you to safely isolate parts of the battery, and to protect your charge. I think in a long way, this is where Kulr,
Cooler.
Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy works. Call us. And the fact is if we could do that, if they can have this technology out there, then I see lots of applications. And this is an application because this gives more bang to the buck on a lot of the things we want to do otherwise. We talked to you a few months ago about niobium. Lacing the anode with niobium allows you to have a higher electricity point and keeps you from having dendrites. Well, there's a problem with it. Is the heat deal. This complements that technology. I want people to understand that this is a play, and it's not expensive right now. As we're speaking, I think it's 230 ish,
Something like that. Yep.
230 a share. In the long run, if you could see this, then start thinking of your things. Who's fighting heat? And then you start going, wow, that's great. Okay, that's great. That's great. And really cool thing is when you find ways to manage heat, you also manage to keep heat as necessary. So, for example, in spacecraft, you know, too cold can happen, right? Especially on reactors, and anytime you're doing fluids and you're doing coolant, then that happens. To me, I really like this company along those lines, and I think this is a long play, that winds up, you know, GM needs to call them. We
Yeah.
know that. And I'm not meaning to pick on GM, but they have a problem right now with cars catching on fire, and this is that thermal runaway. We know what it is. It's a tech. You know, here in about 10 years, this will be unheard of that someone makes a car with these issues. But how did we get to that 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Kulr. God, I do like Kulr.
I think
You
it
know,
makes most sense.
I think it makes more sense, Dana. I
Yep.
mean, they need us. They need us. Call us. Call us. But the thing here is that I really think that this is part of that getting to that 10 years from now. Because in 10 years, if we're driving cars, I mean, look back in, you know, 1910 to 1920, all the things that happened in the cars, people were scared of kerosene. You know, hey, it catches on fire really easy. I light my house with that. So at this juncture, I don't want to drive around with controlled explosions. Now we drive around with controlled explosions called internal combustion engine. Well, these technologies that we now take for granted had to come somewhere. And right now, here's a company that in 10 years will deliver a safer world, and it will deliver it through heat management, which is key. I think this is an easy play for people. Personally, not a financial advisor, but I like this play, and I'm telling people I'm putting money into it because look at it. It makes perfect sense. I've got Bitcoin mining, which we all know is happening with blockchain. So it's a blockchain play. It allows you to have more server density. So it's a cloud play, a data center play. And it's an EV play because it protects and keeps the batteries from going, from using too much electricity.
Consumer electronics. Yep.
Consumer electronics. And it's a space play.
Well, yeah, you touched down on that, right? So you think about like aerospace and defense applications; those are mission critical. Like one little mishap up in in space, and could blow the whole mission, right?
Yep.
So it's exciting to think about this technology, as different developments in that sector happen. I definitely see this being a critical piece to mitigating some risk. And I was looking up too, Bank of America predicts that the space industry itself will be worth nearly $3 trillion in like 30 years. And we've seen Kathy Wood, she launched her ARC X, ETF. There's been 11 different SPACs this year that are all space focused. So
Well, this is one that's an interesting conversation, which is if we get to Mars, then once we have to conquer the ability to go to and from Mars. But once you do that, then your Mars is a lower gravity point and easier to go to the asteroid belt. There's an asteroid in the asteroid belt which has the world's weight in gold.
really,
It's the remnants of a protoplanet, and well, the current amount of gold on that is in the quadrillions of dollars. And so, but the fact is there's plenty of these pure elements that have been in space that haven't had much touch. So if you're looking, you're not going to find lithium as lithium, for example. It's a whore. It combines with everything, but you will find pure iron, an iron that's better than the iron we have on Earth. You find other metals. The rare earth metals are on asteroids in large chunks. So the space industry will look for this, because what the space industry wants to do is move mining off the planet Earth.
yep.
And at that juncture, when you're mining what was left of a protoplanet, and suddenly that changes the economics of everything. But how do you get there? How do you control hydraulic systems in space? Because typically, on Earth, if we have something that has a problem with turning to a vapor, you put increased pressure. So, for example, most nuclear reactors are at a higher pressure than they are on Earth. That way, when I add heat to it, it doesn't just turn to steam. It stays at water. Water stays at a liquid up to 700, 800, 900 degrees, 1,000 degrees. How do you do that? You increase pressure. So, but in space with the cold, it's not a problem of keeping it a liquid, keeping it from going to a gas. It's a problem to keep it, in space, rocks are made of water. So, this is a new set of problems. So thermal and heat management. See, Jimmy, I came back to you, and I still need to know how to pronounce your name. But Jimmy, technology, Kulr, that Jimmy winds up handling this really well, because this becomes a key focus. When I'm going out there and I'm doing something that needs power and strength, we normally use hydraulics. How do I protect that? How do I keep a nuclear reactor in space working? Because in space, that's a harder deal. What becomes your coolant? Do you stay with water like we do pressurized water systems, or do you go with something else? If I can maintain the heat management of a spacecraft, then I can go down to nearly absolute zero. This is why Jimmy, call us, but this is why Kulr, whatever, is such a great company for the space
Genesis, though, too, Rob, actually is in the space industry. It's previously won over 30 some contracts with NASA, providing thermal management solutions that were used in, like I'm reading here, the Mars Rover mission and the Mercury messenger mission. So it's got
without an atmosphere. Without an atmosphere, the difference between day and night temperatures becomes super huge. And so your system no longer can be on Earth. I make the same car for day and night, right? I don't have to sit there and compensate for the two, because they're within a range. But without an atmosphere, the difference between, being on the moon with the sun facing you and on the dark side of the moon is amazingly large temperature gradient. So therefore, your system is built towards that second, not the first. In the Earth, we don't care about that. So this is why companies like Jimmy, call us, comes to us, and therefore this is why their technology has made the day. Yep. Man, thank you for this opportunity. I think we've probably given them a lot of things to think about. What do you think, Dana?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a follow-up needed. I know that, I think we got to continue to peel more and more layers off on this company. I think
if only Jimmy would call us. If only you'd call us, Jimmy.
The one thing I'll end is that I learned that this company recently partnered with Heritage Battery Recycling to kind of refine their safety battery transportation side of their business. But they most recently merged with Retrieve Technology, and the combination will, create the largest lithium, battery recycler in North America, which you and I both know is not an easy task at hand.
Mm-mm.
We've got another video out on exactly this. Or no, it's probably a written article. We've covered this.
Yeah. Or we'll cover it again. Hey.
Needless to say, more to come. Couldn't be more excited to deliver this video, get people's comments, get people talking about this, and reach out to our good friends at Kulr or Jimmy.
And at that point, they can go by Jimbo, because
Yep.
Jimbo's kind of, you like Jimbos, you may not like Jimmy's. So, or you could be Cooler Color. I don't know.
Well,
Power.
as always, Rob, a pleasure. Thanks for making time today.
Thank you.
And as always, follow Rob McCammon. Myself, we're on Twitter. Tweet us your questions. Rob is periodically writing articles via Charge Talk. Check them out. They're insightful. The Lithium Tuesday report is fantastic. If you're chasing, the electrification of future, we got a great index that we're tracking here. So make it a great day, right, Rob?
Yeah, man. This is what we love. We want you guys to understand what you're looking at and buying, and names and everything else and technologies. Wow, some of them fall beneath the, you don't even know you're buying this and you're hoping it's going up. I mean, I think, for example, great company that I like is Palantir. Nobody really can understand what they do if you're not in the area, and that inhibits the price, inhibits you from deciding whether to buy or not. We want to try to beat that. Warren Buffett did say to understand what you're investing in, and that's one of our principal core values. God,
Absolutely.
we have core values. Where the hell did that come from? Anyways, but that's one of our core thoughts and drives here with Charge Talk, and we will continue to do that.
Until next time, thank you for listening and watching.
Thanks, guys.